You are not tired. You are not unlucky. You are not broken. You are emotionally leaking power, and you don't even know it. Every small comment that stays in your head, every delay that ruins your mood, every opinion that shakes your confidence, each one is quietly controlling your life, and today that ends. There is a silent line between people who are constantly shaken and people who walk through chaos untouched. You can feel it when they enter a room. They are not loud. They are not dramatic. They do not rush their words. Yet something about them feels grounded, steady, immovable. Life hits them just like it hits everyone else, but it never seems to stay on them. Problems come and go. Pressure rises and falls. Yet they remain calm, centered, composed, and most people never realize why. It is not because they have easier lives. It is because they do not react the same way. Your life is not heavy because of what happens to you. It is heavy because of what you carry inside your mind. Every comment that lingers in your thoughts, every message you replay, every look you overanalyze, every outcome you fear, each one steals a piece of your energy. Each one quietly weakens your presence. Each one trains your nervous system to live in tension. You are not tired from effort. You are tired from emotional noise. Your mind has been trained to treat everything as urgent. Tone, silence, delay, rejection, comparison. Your nervous system does not ask if something truly matters. It reacts first and asks later. It fires stress. It fires anxiety. It tightens your chest. It shortens your breath. It pulls you into imaginary danger even when your life is calm. This is why peace feels rare. This is why small things feel heavy. This is why your mind feels louder than your world. The strongest people have learned something most never do. They do not allow life to decide their state. They decide their state first. They do not wait for calm. They choose calm. They do not beg motivation. They move anyway. They do not collapse under pressure. They become still. They are not emotionless. They are disciplined. They have trained their nervous system to stop reacting to noise. They have taught their mind that not every stimulus deserves energy. They have removed unnecessary alarms. And once you remove enough of those alarms, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes quiet. Your body becomes steady. Your presence becomes heavy. You stop leaking energy. You stop explaining yourself. You stop arguing with reality. You begin operating from control instead of chaos. Most people believe power is loud. They believe confidence must be shown. They believe strength must be proven. But true power does not announce itself. It stabilizes. It centers. It grounds. Calm people are dangerous in a quiet way. They do not react. They respond. They do not chase. They choose. They do not break. They adjust. And while others burn energy fighting the world, they conserve it and move forward. The moment you learn to pause before reacting, everything begins to change. Your nervous system learns safety. Your mind learns control. Your emotions stop hijacking your direction. You become centered in a world that lives in panic. People begin to feel something around you they cannot explain. Not fear, not dominance, stability. They trust your words more. They hesitate before testing you. They sense you are not easily moved because you are no longer emotionally available to chaos. You are no longer living in reaction. You are living in authority. And once you reach this state, your life begins to obey your inner world instead of the other way around. Most people think overthinking is harmless. They believe it means they are careful, thoughtful, responsible. But overthinking is quiet self-destruction. It slowly drains your clarity, your confidence, and your emotional strength without you even noticing. Every time your mind replays a conversation, every time you imagine a future problem, every time you analyze a look or a tone, your nervous system reacts as if danger is real. Your body does not know the difference between a real threat and a remembered one. So your chest tightens, your breathing changes, your muscles brace, stress chemicals flood your system, and you stay in survival mode while sitting in a safe room, lying in your own bed, scrolling on your phone. This is why you feel tired when you have done nothing physical. This is why your mind feels loud even when your life is quiet. You are not weak. You are overstimulated. Your nervous system has been trained to respond to everything. Messages, delays, opinions, facial expressions, silence, comparison. Your body treats these as danger, so it fires anxiety, it fires tension, it fires self-doubt, and you live in a constant low-grade emergency without realizing it. The strongest people broke this pattern. They trained themselves to pause. They trained themselves to breathe. They trained themselves to choose their reaction. Instead of reacting, they wait. Instead of spiraling, they observe. Instead of panicking, they remain still. This single habit reshapes your life because every time you pause before reacting, you send your nervous system a powerful message. You are not in danger. You are in control. You are safe. And slowly, your mind begins to quiet. Your body begins to relax. Your presence begins to deepen. You stop being rushed by your own thoughts. You stop being hijacked by moods. You stop being dragged by emotional noise. Your words slow down. Your movements become steady. Your energy becomes heavy. People start noticing something about you they cannot explain. You seem calm in situations that shake others. You do not rush to defend yourself. You do not react to pressure. You do not chase reassurance. You simply stay grounded. And grounded people feel powerful without trying. You stop seeking validation. You stop explaining yourself. You stop reacting to everything. Your silence becomes stronger than arguments. Your calm becomes stronger than noise. Your presence becomes stronger than words. This is where authority is born, not from dominance, not from volume, but from control. Most people give their power away without realizing it. They hand it over through attachment to outcomes, attachment to opinions, attachment to being understood, liked, chosen, approved. They attach their emotional state to things that were never meant to control them. And when those things shift, delay, disappear, or disappoint, they fall apart inside. This is the hidden trap. The moment your peace depends on something outside of you, you become fragile. Your happiness becomes negotiable. Your confidence becomes conditional. Your mood becomes controlled by variables you cannot command. This is why people suffer, not because life is cruel, but because they cling too tightly to how they think life should behave. They grip expectations. They cling to outcomes. They attach to people's reactions. And every attachment becomes a vulnerability. The strongest people live differently. They care, but they do not cling. They want, but they do not depend. They aim high, but they are not emotionally enslaved by outcomes. They understand something powerful. You can desire without suffering. You can try without breaking. You can hope without losing control. They do not negotiate their peace with the future. They place their emotional center inside themselves. So when delays happen, they remain steady. When rejection appears, they stay grounded. When plans fall apart, they adapt calmly. They do not fall into emotional debt. They move forward untouched. This is what makes them dangerous in a quiet way. People who are emotionally self-contained are unpredictable. You cannot shake them. You cannot rush them. You cannot emotionally corner them. They are internally anchored. And because of that, others feel smaller around them without knowing why. Their calm feels heavy. Their silence feels intentional. Their presence feels stable. This is not arrogance. This is sovereignty. They have reclaimed control of their inner world. You begin doing this the moment you detach from expectations, when you stop demanding that life behave in specific ways for you to feel okay. When you stop attaching your worth to timing, reactions, outcomes, or approval. You still pursue goals, you still build, you still grow, but you do not emotionally collapse when reality shifts. You bend, you adjust, you continue. Your peace becomes independent. Your mind becomes stable. Your energy becomes untouchable. And when your inner world becomes stable, your outer world starts responding differently to you, because stable people are rare, and rare energy commands attention without asking. Most people are silently controlled by approval. They measure their worth through reactions. They adjust their behavior to be accepted. They soften their voice. They shrink their truth. They hesitate to move fully into who they are. And little by little, they lose themselves without noticing. They call it being polite. They call it being humble. They call it being realistic. But it is fear wearing soft language, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of standing alone. Approval turns your life into a negotiation. Your truth becomes conditional. Your confidence becomes delayed. Your choices become filtered, and every filter weakens your power. The strongest people step out of this trap early. They understand something most never accept. Not everyone will like you. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support your direction. And none of that determines your worth. They do not chase applause. They do not bend for comfort. They do not shrink for peace. They stand in quiet certainty. And because of that, people respond differently to them. You can feel it when someone does not seek your approval. Their energy feels firm. Their words feel steady. Their presence feels grounded. You cannot emotionally push them. You cannot rush them. You cannot pull them into chaos. They are internally sovereign. Approval is emotional currency. When you seek it, you give others power over your state. When you stop seeking it, you reclaim your nervous system, your confidence, your direction. You become stable. You stop explaining your choices. You stop defending your truth. You stop waiting for permission. You move quietly and consistently. Your actions begin to speak louder than any justification. People may not always agree with you, but they will feel your certainty, and certainty is magnetic. You do not need to prove yourself. You do not need to announce your growth. You do not need to convince anyone. You simply become. And in that becoming, your power returns. Criticism only hurts when your identity is loose. When you are unsure of who you are, every comment feels like a threat. Every opinion feels heavy. Every look feels loaded. But when your identity becomes stable, criticism loses its teeth. Words only hurt when they enter your self-image. Most people react to criticism emotionally. They defend, they explain, they argue, they retreat. And every reaction feeds the other person power. You are showing them where your emotional doors are. You are telling them exactly what can shake you. Strong people never do this. They do not react immediately. They do not justify themselves. They do not absorb every opinion. They listen quietly. They filter carefully. They move forward unchanged. They understand that not all criticism is truth. Most of it is projection, frustration, insecurity, confusion, someone else's emotional noise. So they keep what improves them and discard the rest. This single habit protects your confidence. You stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours. You stop arguing with people who do not define your future. You stop defending your direction to those who are not walking your path, and your energy stays clean. You remain grounded even when voices rise. You remain steady even when opinions clash. You remain calm even when doubt surrounds you. This is not coldness. This is discipline. It shows the world that your inner world is guarded. And when your inner world is guarded, your life becomes sharper, clearer, and more controlled. Pressure reveals people. Some collapse, some freeze, some become loud and reckless, and some become still. The still ones always rise. Chaos does not defeat most people. Reaction does. When pressure hits, the nervous system wants to rush, explain, defend, panic, and escape. It tries to regain control through noise and movement, but true control comes from stillness. The strongest people are calm before they are clever. They slow their breathing. They slow their thoughts. They slow their words. And in that slowness, clarity returns. While others scramble emotionally, they calculate quietly. They do not fight reality. They do not argue with what is. They adapt and move forward. They have trained their nervous system to expect challenge. So pressure no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a signal, a moment to enter control mode. They remain grounded while others become reactive. They remain silent while others become emotional. They remain strategic while others become desperate. And this is why calm people quietly take over rooms, conversations, negotiations, and opportunities. People trust the person who is not shaken. People follow the person who is not rushed. People respect the person who is not emotionally available to chaos. This composure is not personality. It is training. You develop it by choosing calm when you feel pressure, by breathing before speaking, by pausing before reacting, by refusing to let urgency steal your clarity. Each time you do, your nervous system rewires, and soon calm becomes your default. You stop living in survival. You start living in authority. Most suffering comes from resistance, not from events, but from the fight against what already is. The mind demands that reality behave a certain way. It demands that people respond correctly. It demands that timing be perfect. And when those demands are not met, pain begins. You feel stress. You feel frustration. You feel disappointment, not because life is broken, but because your expectations were rigid. The strongest people release this fight early. They understand that control over life is limited, but control over self is absolute. So they stop demanding that the world behave in ways that protect their comfort. They adapt instead. They do not argue with delays. They do not emotionally collapse over setbacks. They do not panic when plans change. They adjust and continue. This is why they remain calm while others become bitter. They are not attached to how things should happen. They are focused on moving forward no matter how things happen. And this gives them emotional freedom. They no longer suffer over what they cannot command. They redirect energy toward what they can build. They remain peaceful while still ambitious. They flow forward without breaking. This detachment does not make you passive. It makes you powerful, because power is not forcing life. It is moving through life unshaken. Most people talk to relieve their own tension. They speak to explain, to defend, to justify, to fill space, to protect their image. Their words are emotional reactions, not deliberate moves. And because of this, they leak power every time they open their mouth. Silence does the opposite. Silence keeps your center stable. Silence keeps your intentions hidden. Silence keeps your emotional doors closed. When you do not rush to speak, others reveal themselves. They talk more. They fill the space. They expose their thoughts, doubts, and intentions. Meanwhile, you observe. You calculate. You stay in control. Silence creates gravity. It makes people lean in. It makes people second guess. It makes people respect your presence. This is why the strongest individuals are never the loudest. They do not chase attention. They let attention come to them. In conflict, silence unsettles. In negotiation, silence pressures. In emotional moments, silence protects. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer easy to read. You are no longer emotionally accessible to chaos. And this changes how people treat you. They pause around you. They hesitate. They listen, not because you demand power, but because you carry it. Your mind becomes what you train it to expect. If you expect ease, chaos will shake you. If you expect challenge, pressure will not surprise you. This is why most people feel overwhelmed. They live as if life should be smooth, and when it isn't, their nervous system panics. The strongest people train their minds differently. They expect resistance. They expect delays. They expect uncertainty. So when it arrives, they do not react emotionally. They move automatically into control mode. They breathe slower. They think clearer. They act deliberately. They do not lose their center. They have conditioned their nervous system through daily discipline. They do uncomfortable things by choice. They keep promises to themselves. They move when they do not feel like it. They stay silent when they could react. They pause when they feel rushed. Each small act strengthens their mental authority. Over time, their baseline state changes. Calm becomes normal. Focus becomes natural. Pressure becomes familiar. They no longer burn energy on emotional chaos. They conserve it for building, creating, deciding, moving forward. This is how an unshakable mind is formed, quietly, daily, without announcement. Real power does not advertise itself. It does not explain. It does not announce. It simply moves and lets reality adjust around it. The loudest people in the room are often the least grounded. They speak to be seen. They explain to be accepted. They promise to be believed. And in doing so, they leak their authority. The strongest people do the opposite. They speak less. They act more. They reveal little. They build quietly. They do not argue their direction. They do not defend their pace. They do not explain their vision. They move, and the world responds, because execution carries weight that words never can. Silence makes your growth invisible. Invisible growth makes your results shocking. Shocking results command respect without demand. People cannot interfere with what they cannot track. They cannot sabotage what they do not see. They cannot emotionally attach to what you do not reveal. Your power multiplies in privacy. You become unpredictable. You become untouchable. You become internally sovereign. You no longer need approval. You no longer fear delay. You no longer argue with noise. Your calm becomes permanent. Your direction becomes steady. Your presence becomes heavy. This is the state where nothing controls you, not opinions, not pressure, not uncertainty, not delay, not rejection. You move forward untouched. And this is what it truly means to live as if nothing bothers you. Pressure becomes familiar. They no longer burn energy on emotional chaos. They conserve it for building, creating, deciding, moving forward. This is how an unshakable mind is formed, quietly, daily, without announcement. At some point, you will notice something quietly changing inside you. Situations that once disturbed your sleep no longer follow you home. Words that once echoed in your mind fade quickly. Delays that once frustrated you feel neutral. You do not become numb. You become centered. You still care, but you do not cling. You still aim high, but you do not panic. You still move forward, but you are no longer rushed. Your nervous system finally understands safety. And when your nervous system feels safe, your mind becomes sharp. You start choosing your reactions. You start choosing your focus. You start choosing your direction. Your inner world stops being chaotic. Your outer world starts aligning. People begin to feel your stability before they understand it. They sense calm in your voice. They sense certainty in your movement. They sense control in your silence. And without effort, you begin to carry quiet authority. You no longer chase clarity. You become clarity. You no longer seek power. You carry it. Nothing has to go perfectly for you to stay grounded. Nothing has to go your way for you to stay confident. Nothing has to happen for you to remain steady. Your state is no longer rented from life. It belongs to you. This is how you become emotionally untouchable. This is how you become internally sovereign. This is how you step into quiet dominance. And once you live from this state, the world can no longer rush you, shake you, or control you, because your power now lives where nothing external can reach it.